Okay, then our YouTube link is already ready. So could you look at the Rhino files and bake your models? I think I have some sort of, or I cannot hear you.
Yeah, the voice is breaking a little bit.
Mm-hmm. Maybe it will be better now. Okay, how is it going on?
Oh,
Yeah, I've tried few options. I think different settings. I was trying one more. So I did 3. So I was trying one with more inhabitants to see what happens.
are you gonna share your screen, or I also baked some models.
Can I share the screen? It's disabled right now by the host.
I think you can share it now. By the way, you are muted. We cannot hear you, Mohammed.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, I was.
No problem.
Yeah, I was saying that I took the 4 human setting as the base with the garden, and then duration I kept it at 100 itself, and few changes like I want to try with medium greenhouse. The default was small, and the crew I kept it smaller, and then these were the outcomes I got in terms of volume and the panels. So this is the first option.
Great.
Lagging.
I had a problem with the internet, so I couldn't follow the first part. If it is possible, could you summarize a little bit?
Yeah, I was saying I made a few changes based on yesterday I was trying, and there was like the volume for the habitat volume was coming much higher, and the greenhouse was lower based on the base setting. So this is what I'm going to try. So I reduced the habitat volume. Like the crew quarters, I made it smaller. So that was the edit, and greenhouse I made medium, and tried this option, and like I've increased the node. So we have 3 nodes and this is the first option. And then in the second one, I've tried just a similar setting, but increased the duration, and kept the quarter size as medium. And in this case, the number of the habitats had to be increased to reach the volume demand. So you can see, so these were the numbers, and this is the required volume, and this is what I've achieved, along with the number of units. So 5 habitat units to reach the required volume. It wasn't possible with the 4 units. And similarly, having reduced the number of inhabitants to 3 to see how the way. So this is a second option. Maybe I can place it one right to another. Then
Yeah, great. I think we also shared the terrain of Mars, so you can place your models on there, and you can try, since the 3 iterations are for 3 different scenarios.
Yeah.
Maybe you can also multiply the value so that for each scenario you will have numerous options, like for the first scenario having 3 different options that satisfies the very same output results, and then for 3 different layouts having different solutions, so that we can both discuss how the system or architecture responds to the very same result or very same demands, but also for how it affects when the scenario changes.
Okay. Yes, understood. All right.
Yeah, great work. Thanks.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, so I'll share my screen. Okay. Can you see that?
Yeah, we can see.
Okay. So basically, I have 2 scenarios, and for the first one, I try the solutions in a smaller scale. So it's 1 human and 1 radish for 30 days. And those are the data I download from the website. And the first layout I tried is the radio ones. And this is the one with 4 habitats. And this is with 5, and this is with 3. And also to control the variables, I also tried the linear layouts. And the one below is also with 4 habitats, and the one next is with 5 habitats. And the last one with 3 habitats, but it can't do the work. So I conclude that maybe radio ones are more efficient than the linear ones, since the 3 habitats can do the work, but in the linear condition, it cannot. And secondly, I tried another, this is 4 human and 1 garden for 100 days. This is a larger scale, and these are the data needed. And because of, I concluded that the radio ones are more effective, so I tried the radio one first. And this is one of the solutions I got. And when I use the same data to try the linear ones, it is much bigger. So I think the conclusion is valid. And I also found out that the position of each parts and the angles of the panels seem to have little to do with the change of volumes, and that is something I've found from these baked models.
Yeah, also great work, and also you are using the very same or very similar scenario for the simulation, and we can observe from your work that there is endless possibilities. So for a very similar needs in a extreme context, we can try some different approaches, and maybe we can also discuss the advantages and disadvantages of not only having a radial or linear layout, but also how having two separate storages with, for example, 500 and 500 for 1,000 m³ need, or having a single storage with a bigger volume. So maybe we can also discuss such things, because they both will have advantages and disadvantages. Like having two separate spaces will cause will cost more, because we'll obviously have more construction going on Mars, but it will ease the lives of the people who will live there during the mission.
Oh yes, I want to add something, and because the greenhouse, for example, is the data is small, so basically all the settings, one is enough in my scenario. So I didn't compare with 2 or 3, but maybe because my scale is too small.
Yeah. Of course, if the scale and the mission duration gets bigger, of course we will have that potential. But for smaller scenarios and smaller crews going on there, it would not be an efficient solution to have multiple storage.
Yeah, for this one, this is a bigger scale. It's for human and one garden, and I tried 2 greenhouse, and it's a little wasted, I think, because this one is 1,000, and for one is only 500, and the one needed is 541. So in my scenarios, above 2 is a bit large.
Yeah, great. So, what are your experiences during that generation process? Because it's really good to discuss your experiences all together, because we made some assumptions, we made some analysis for this context, and of course we proposed some design strategies, and you were the ones using them, and it's great to it would be great to have your feedback about those issues. For example, can you, for example, offer another layout instead of using linear or radial? Maybe you imagine some different possibilities while using them. Or it could be anything else about, for example, why don't we use such modules for storage? For example, you had only 3 options. For example, if you would be using a 4th option, would it be better for any other cases?
Yeah, I was wondering how would we kind of evaluate the performance of each option. Like right now, we're mostly doing the volumetric evaluation of it, even different options. So if we were to pick one iteration is better, maybe like we discussed environmental factors or some form of orientation based analysis might give us a bit more, add another layer to picking the best option. So that's something that I was thinking.
Yeah.
That we added.
Great comment, because of course the options that we are generating here will have effect on different things except the volumetric needs of the habitat. But for example, having a very big unit for the greenhouse or the storage would make the structure itself vulnerable for the climate conditions or any other extreme conditions, because having a very big structure is a bit problematic in the extreme conditions. So maybe we can measure the performance or the possible disadvantages and advantages with some parameters or the outputs that the code generates, like the number of units in total, or not the volume, but the span that the structure covers. Maybe we can also introduce them. Thanks for the feedback.
Yeah.
I also have a question. Do we consider problems from the angle of the users? For example, maybe in my scenario, 3 habitats and 5 habitats both work, but maybe for the users, maybe 5 habitats are better because they have more private space like stuff. Do we consider problems from their angles or just from the environment angle and such?
Of course, when we think about the conditions, users are very valuable inputs in that area, because the environmental conditions are very harsh. So when we think about it, the meter cube calculations came up from that point of view, actually. So these sort of arrangements actually provide the user that they will live in a more comfortable environment.
Okay.
So maybe we can ask from you that we shared the Mars terrain with you with the right file. So in A4 size, could you make some sort of, for a one-page poster that it includes your renders and also the process, for example, screenshots from CMOC or your code, and also a small text, maximum with the 120 words. So we can ask from you that kind of a poster to understand how the outcome affects you and your designs. Is it possible?
Yeah, sure. Yes. Was it what was the size?
Yeah, one page of A4.
Okay. Yeah.
And also, can you also upload your models, the Rhino models, fake models, to the Drive folder? Because yeah, it's really good to have your work documented, and it's also good for you to look up to the older versions, generate some new ones, and see how it changes. So version control is really important, because sometimes we need the older files, because sometimes we make mistakes. So it's really good to keep things safe.
So I opened outcomes folder in Drive, so you can upload your works for models and also for the posters.
Does this poster have some kind of example? I'm still, I don't know.
Actually, it's not constrained. You can use A4 size how you want, but maybe you can add, I'm looking some templates. Actually, you can use how you want.
Okay.
If you could share your source files also, we can arrange them accordingly. Is there any more questions or anything about the issue?
Hello.
Hello.
I have a delay. Sorry for that. And as I heard, you said that we should upload our files. I want to know if there is any deadline or any format or any number that is needed that we, for example, is it necessary to have 3, 4, or more alternatives or no? And when is the deadline for uploading our files?
Actually, if it's ready, you can upload right now, and there's no limit, but you can make them in one file to arrange that we can understand that it's your work, and it's a one file, so all of your it will be better for our understanding also. We also ask from you to create a poster, which will be one page of A4 size, and you can add some images from model, and also we shared Mars terrain, so you can create some sort of renders and add them to the poster. And also you can create some sort of screen shots from CMOC or your code and put them in your poster also. In addition to that, we are asking you a small paragraph that explain your work and also your experience. And be a maximum of 120 words, and we will arrange them.
Thank you. Sorry, because there is some problem with my connection. I missed some part of your speaking, and I didn't realize if there is any deadline for that or no.
Actually, it will be better that we can collect these works from you today, but if it is not possible, we can arrange, I don't know, maybe until tomorrow, or how is it suitable for you?
Oh, so is our model and a poster, right? In
Yes.
total. Okay, sure.
It will be better that you can arrange them now and share with us within the workshop hours, so it will not be that much burden for you also.
Okay, thank you very much.
So we can work on that now.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. All right.
And Yasemin, if you have any kind of questions about your model, or if you could, if you want to share with us, we can look at them also.
Yes, of course. I'm working on the project, and maybe other day, no, sorry, in some hours later, I ask some question.
Okay.
Thank you.
Actually, I want to ask, the conclusions before is just what I try to conclude from my solutions, and I don't know whether they're valid, or are there any kind of conclusion about the optimization, or yeah, I actually want to learn more about it, and I think my solution are just a very little piece of the whole optimization. So I want to know, are there more conclusions?
Actually, when we think about your work right now, it is a surface of the situation, because it's not that we couldn't that go in deeper in that literature and also the subject right now. But when we think about it, it will be very valuable that what's your experience about it, what you feel about it, or while you are arranging your volumes, how you correlate them with each other. So it will be very valuable conclusion also, because when we think about it, the design portion of these issues is not that much covering the whole situation, but we are right now focusing on how is it going on relationships.
Okay, thanks. And I'm just out of curiosity, I want to know what kind of factors do you value most when you're designing such a habitation?
Actually, when we think about it, it's a very harsh environment, and these extreme conditions are affecting the design mostly. So the environment issue, this concept, is the main point of the design when we think about the Mars habitat, because it's not the same with Earth. We do not have any kind of atmosphere, or we have different kind of values about the planet. So, for example, there's a radiation outside. So the thickness of the walls should be differentiated from Earth. For example, when we think about this radiation issue, I think, I'm not sure the source, but if we use Martian regolith, it could be a 90 centimeter to 100 centimeter. So it's very thick walls when we compare it with the Earth. These kind of issues, these environmental issues, is our main concern in my point of view. And also when we think about the other inputs, like the different day and night temperatures, it's also affecting the inside and outside conditions. For example, when we live in that area, we need to maintain our temperature in a balanced way, but in the outside it's changing very hugely, massively changing when we compare it to day and night temperatures. So it's very important that we maintain this balance inside of the habitat. So we need environmental control life support systems. And if we need these kind of systems, we should have some sort of storages that we could maintain this system in a working condition. So it's also another kind of important point.
Okay, thanks. Also, I found that during my little experiment, I found that the position of those modules and the angle of the panels has little to do with the outcome. I don't know, is that valid or something's wrong with my experiment?
Actually, in our work, it is not related that much, but in real cases, it's very related because when we go to Mars, for example, we will locate ourselves in a very distinct way. So we will have these land and we will make our habitation in that land. So we have a direction and we will know that the sun will came in, I don't know, some sort of angle. So in order to arrange the photovoltaics angle, we will use this sun azimuth angle. So it will be changing our energy production.
Oh, yes, I see. I can understand about the angles of the panels, but how about the different position of all those little modules, like the habitats or the greenhouse? Are these positions relevant to the outcome?
It is relevant because when we think about it, we have these environments, and the environment is not allow us to move and do it freely what we want. So if we will create an habitation on that environment, we need to think all of the constraints. We cannot go outside very freely. We need some sort of suit. So it should be some sort of compact way to reach where we want to go in a very easy way. So because of that, for example, if you can remember the first day, I should try to touch that point with the function relations. So for example, when we put an habitation here and greenhouse in somewhere there, it will be very hard to reach there because we need to, I don't know, wear our suits, go out with the pressured door, then go outside, then another pressured door, and inside the greenhouse. So if it is more compact way, it will be better to live in a more comfortable way. Maybe we can relate in that approach.
I see. So can I conclude it as the more impact, the better?
Actually, we can think about this as that way, because if it is compact and if it is working with each other in a very clear way, it will be useful. And if it is useful and functional for the user and also the environment, it is working.
Yeah. Okay, thanks. I see.
Well, we have an update. While you are uploading your models, can you separate your designs? So, for example, you can open a folder for your name, and you can put separate models in Rhino models in that folder. Is it possible for you?
Yes, that's possible. Yeah.
For example, I have 7 models in one big model, so I have to like divide it into 7 little models.
Yes, if
Is
it is
that-
possible, it will be best for you. For us.
Oh,
Evet.
but I think if I put some of this together, I can conclude something. So that's not necessary, right?
For your posters, you can use them as you wish, but for uploading Drive, if you can separate them, it will be better.
Okay. Hello. I don't know how to upload this to the shared drive.
Yes, I think the settings are different. I'm changing it.
Yes, and I don't know how to do that.
I send a link from chat. You can use that link to download, upload your works.
Okay, thanks.
You're welcome. Yasemin, if you are saying something, I cannot hear right now. Maybe, is there a problem about your microphone? No.
What about now? Can you
Yes.
hear me now?
Yes.
Thank you. I have a problem with designing for a large number of astronauts. As an example, I have 8 astronauts and 90 days. These are the numbers that they need for habitats. For habitats, it's 4,169. For greenhouses, 5,886, and for storage, about 11,000 square meter. But when I increase, as an example, the maximum capacity of storage are 2,000. If we increase the number of that, it exceeds the number of nodes and the parts that can be connected to them, and I can't reach to that numbers.
So maybe for that scenario, you can use linear one, and it could be a solution for that. Because for the radial one, it's a different sort of code. So maybe the linear solution will better for that scenario.
Yes, I think that would be solution, but I wondered that what's the problem with radial one? You mean that for a great number of astronauts, and when we have we need large amount of spaces, we can use radial one.
If you could able to share your screen, maybe we can look at them in a more clear way.
Yes. Sorry, there's a problem in some settings. I should change them in order to share my screen. I'll be
Of
back in
course.
a few minutes.
Of course.
I think now you can see my screen.
Yes, we can.
I set this part that relates to number of habitats and its capacity to the number that I need, and also for greenhouse. But when I want to change this, there's a problem, because if I increase the number, it exceeds the number of nodes, and also I can't increase the capacity of them, and also there is intersection between these spaces.
Can you change the number of nodes by controlling the greenhouse number?
It exceeds the amount that I needed. Because it's the number, the amount that I need for that mission. If I increase them, then decrease them, the distance between them decreases. That result in some intersection between some spaces.
Yeah. So oh, it's interesting. There is another slider that you can control how the distribution among nodes is controlled. Let me see. Yeah, can you control the slider located here? Just a second. Yeah, that one.
A seed.
The seed controls the location of nodes, so you can prevent some intersections by changing that layout. But since your scenario is really necessitates a crowded habitat, maybe the solution can be like doing it partially. For example, think of it as satisfying the total volumetric needs in 2 steps. For example, generating 3 nodes and having, for example, 3,000 meter cubes, and let's say that your total should be 5,000, and then producing the half of your needs with 3 nodes, and then having 2 nodes and producing 2,000 meter cubes more, and bake them separately, and you can move your generated habitats alongside of each other. So seemingly this scenario fails our generative system. You can use the linear layout, but it would be another huge habitat. So I think that the solution would be to make it partially.
Separate it to more than one part.
Yeah, generating more than one habitat to maintain the total volumetric needs.
Yes, so it seems that when we have a great amount of astronauts and we need too much spaces, that radial solution may not meet their needs.
Yeah, totally.
Thank you very much. And the seed is something like a random number that change the configuration of different parts of habitat. Am I right?
Sorry, can you repeat your question?
Yes, that number that you told me to change that, the seed, this one. It's like a random number that randomly change the position and configuration of habitats, greenhouses. Greenhouses, I think it's fixed, but it changes.
Yeah. It what it does is really simple. Let's say that you have 4 nodes for the radial layout, and they're all connected linearly, but the branches are like that: 1, 2, 3, and 1, 2, 3 at the end, and 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1, 2, 3, 4 nodes for the nodes between them. And what it controls, the seed, is this. Since we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 3 more, 14 nodes in total. And let's say that you need to place 8 modules in this layout, and it randomly selects 8 of them. Like that. And when you change the seed, the random selection is changed to a different layout so that it prevents some clashes. If, for example, this node and this node clashes, maybe one of them in another random seed is empty, so that it prevents the clashes.
Control it with what we desire.
Sorry?
Am I right? Random cannot fit. As an example, if we nodes from 1, example 2, 3, and 4, and I want to have a example 4 parts connected to a second node, I can do that. It change it randomly.
Yeah, that's right. Actually, it's possible to change it to not to make it random, but it's in an ordered way. But it would be a bit hard because it would need for us to intervene the code and open the clusters and rearrange rearrange the components that we're using. But it's possible.
Yes, but not with this code. It needs more.
Yeah, totally. That's why I'm offering a hybrid solution where we generate in 2 steps. Or maybe we can also do that. You can bake your model and modify it manually. It's also possible. For example, imagine baking all this layout, and you can take those 2 objects and place it there manually.
Yes, that's right.
That's also another solution.
Yes, thank you. And another question is that the number that provided here, 2,000, is a maximum capacity of storage in real world. I mean that it's fixed for what we want to build in Mars in the real world.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. The minimums and maximums are coming from the literature, the research. But of course, we can double click on the gene pool and edit the maximum to be adjusted like 2,500. But if it's crucial, if it's really necessary, we can also edit the maximum numbers and cheat a bit. But more or less, the minimums and maximums are derived from the literature so that we fit to the scientific context.
Yes, thank you very much. Thanks a lot.
Welcome.
As a reminder, maybe for your renders, you can use the we added in the project data. So it would be more realistic when we added the terrain. Add your project in that terrain, your renders will be more, it would be different kind of exercise for you also.
I have another question. May I should share my screen?
Of course.
There is a problem here in my code, but I don't know if it's what relates to.
It's probably related with the nodes. Can you go back to first part and the numbers?
It's for habitats, but I think it's related to this part. I think yes, it's one.
I think your screen coming later.
Can you see my screen?
Yes, I'm seeing it right now. Can you show it again? Where is the problem in the numbers?
It's one for number of greenhouse, which is related to greenhouse, and it needs about 500, and that's here in my code. This one and this one. That both of them, I think, relates to a greenhouse part. It's said insufficient points for polyline.
It's very hard to see your mouse and your screen because the internet is there's a bad connection, I think. Maybe I'm just guessing that there's a problem with that connection points. For example, you have one node as a greenhouse and 6 arms coming out from that greenhouse. But you are trying to add in more, I believe. So it's clashes with each other and creates that problem.
And I think maybe it's because need to make polyline between nodes that are greenhouse, and when it's one, maybe it say that it can't make a polyline between just one point. Am I right? Can you hear me?
Yes, probably my internet gets a problem. So could you please share your screen again? Probably you didn't hear my answer
Sharing
because
my
my
screen.
internet gone.
Yes, before sharing my screen, because I think my internet is terrible. So let me guess. I think that the problem is that this component makes a polyline between 2 points. But now that we have just one greenhouse, it can't make create that polyline because there is just 1 point, and
Yes.
with 1 point we can't create any line.
So as a solution, you can divide this greenhouse as a 2 nodes and add these different volumes to that second one.
But the minimum amount of greenhouses 500, and I just need 499 square for my greenhouse. If I create 2 greenhouses, then it exceeds the amount that I need.
So maybe in that scenario, that greenhouse could be used as a storage I'm not sure it could be a solution to that. So we can change a little bit the scenario of these alternatives.
You mean that our node should, my node should be storage?
It could be used as a storage.
As I remember in previous session, I forget the name of our instructor. Sorry, but he said that we use nodes for greenhouses. I don't know how can I change that because by changing, I mean that by changing the second part that relates to greenhouses, just nodes change. So I can't change that. I don't know why all of my scenarios have problem.
Yeah, true. The nodes are only designed to contain greenhouses, not storages. But if you can repeat your problem, maybe you can provide a solution. Because for a single node, I guess you cannot make any branches, if I understood correctly. By the way, I think you are muted. We cannot hear you.
Okay. Hear me now?
Yeah.
Okay. I said that because as I need less than minimum amount of capacity for greenhouses, I need in the scenario I need 499 for a greenhouse, so I can just create one greenhouse. So it can any polyline between one point. So also relates to that. Yes, it relates to length of. I think that polyline. It said that it can. So I think the problem is number of greenhouse. That's one, and it can't create any polyline for that.
Yeah, that's true. If you have one node, the polyline component does not produce any line. And if you want to add more than 6 modules, for that case, the only way to do is to increase the number of nodes. But I understand that you need only 500 meter cubes of greenhouse. Then maybe you can double click on the gene pool and set their minimum to 250, then make 2 greenhouses with 250 volume. And so in that way you can add more nodes.
Yes, but on that case, that wouldn't be based on real world. Is there any problem with this scenario? There's a problem in code, but not in the final result. I want to know if there is a problem with scenario in the real world. I mean that we can we have one node and the 6 module around that, or that's the problem in real world?
Yeah, we can increase the number of nodes connected to a single center. But in that case, if we increase it to 7, for example, this 2 geometry will inevitably clash. Because if I add another node here, this will make them get closer, the angle will decrease, and this one and this one will inevitably intersect.
But now it meets my need, so there isn't a problem, and it's a kind of problem in process and not in the result. I can use the scenario of my final result. Yes.
Yeah, I think for that scenario, the only solution would be to switch to the linear layout, because circular layout has some limitations like that, like containing only 6 nodes connected to the center, and center should be greenhouse. Maybe you can switch to the linear one, or you can again make 2 layouts and change the center of the second one, the second node, to the storage manually. This could be another solution.
If I change it to two, you mean second solution is to separate it to 2 parts, yes?
Yeah.
But if I separate for second one, I don't have any node.
Yeah, you can actually increase the number of nodes, like the greenhouse, like adding another node here, so that you will have additional slots for the incoming modules, extra modules. But what you need to do is changing this greenhouse with the storage.
And for that, I should decrease.
I couldn't hear that, sorry.
I need to decrease density of nodes.
Actually, you need to increase the number of nodes with the greenhouse slider.
But in that scenario, you will not adding the additional 500, for example, as a greenhouse. You can add them as manually in storage.
Sorry, I didn't get what you said.
So if you could add another node there, for example, we have another node here. So we have another branches, and we can add our volumes in that branches as, I don't know, as we wish. But in that scenario, we do not need more greenhouse, because that one is okay for us. So that one could be used as a storage in that area. So for example, when we has 100 meter cube here, we will not have that. We will have 500. Op.
Yes, I think I got what you said. You mean that I make this in my code and then I bake it and manually change the second greenhouse to a storage.
Yes, and add it in here.
Nice. And my question is that now there's a problem in my code, but not in final result. There isn't a problem in my final result, that is this model. It creates the model. There's an error here, but it creates what I want. So what's the problem with using this model?
Actually, it's not the problem, but the warning, because when the components become orange in color, it means that it's not, it may not doing everything that you want, like having multiple branches, multiple nodes, and having branches out of them. But it just warns you, because the code is actually written to have multiple nodes. But since you have a single node, it just warns you. It's not a problem.
Okay, and
That's why it generates.
okay, and this type of configuration that we have one node and 6 module around that is common in real world too. Yes.
Yeah.
And what's the maximum number of component that sorry, or a module that we can add to one node in real world? Is there any limitation, or just it's about the amount of space that we have in order not to that they have an inner connection with each other?
Actually, it's very related with the terrain. So if we have a topography that has very much movement, so it will affect these modules. But for example, if we have a flat surface, in theory, it's infinite. We can do whatever we want. But in practice, probably it will be related with the financial issues.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
You're welcome.
So, questions about the model or code or in general?
That was really great, but I need to practice more. And as I have some problem as the first one, that the model was too big, and this one that it was too maybe small. That's caused some bugs, and I need to test some other scenarios maybe in order to be able to produce a great outcome. And that time I don't have any question. Thank you very much for all the information you provide for us.
Of course, you're welcome. And I think it's better to understand from that box. It's very useful to see these kind of differences. So because of that, we ask from you that you should try different kind of alternatives and scenarios. So it will create this kind of problems, so we can learn from that problems. And for the posters and models, if you want, you can submit them until today's end. So you can create renders with the terrain and add them in your posters and your wishes, or you want to add what you think.
And again, I don't know if there's a problem with my connection or your connection. I missed some part of your speak. I just hear that you said we have time until the end of today to upload our files. And
Yeah, that's true. Because it's really important to have a good presentation for you to add this to your portfolios and present it nicely. So we don't think that time pressure helps in that situation. So feel free to wrap it up and exhibit and present all of the process. And if you need some help with that process, you can always email us, or I don't know if you can reach us via DigitalFUTURES platform, but if it's the case, you can also reach from there, and we would be gladly help. So, but overall, thanks for your contribution, because it was really fun to experiment the extreme conditions, design, operation. It's a really fun subject, and thanks for joining us for this journey, for this experience.
Okay, thanks. I want to ask whether we have more like this kind of fun workshops, because I'm very interested in everything about Mars, but we don't have these courses here in China that often. So if there are future chances, can I know that?
I think we can arrange more for the coming years, or for the coming events. And maybe we can offer some different subjects, like I don't know, in a different context in space could be, or one that could focus more on the artificial intelligence part. That's possible.
Oh, okay, that would be great.
Yeah. Also, you can always reach out to us via our emails for your research, for your interest. We would be gladly participate in that.
Okay, thanks.
You're welcome.
Yeah, thank you so much for everything you shared. It's really cool.
Thank you.
And I would like to try the optimization part as well, just to see how it works.
Mhm.
And so email is the preferred, like you would prefer email if I have any questions, like in the future.
Yeah, we can write our emails to here as well, so that you can always.
And also, my internet connection is very bad, so I'm sorry about it. I think very nice thing is going on, and I cannot participate right now. So I am happy to hear all of you, but it's very coming and going for me.
Thanks a lot.
We were saying
yeah.
that let's keep in touch. So
Yeah.
we are sharing our emails.
Right. Thank
So that's
you.
my email in the chat. We can always make some contributions to each other, having Zoom sessions about the similar subjects. I'm more in the programming part, not actually the space architecture part, but you can also reach out to Gizem Hoca for the space architecture things, or the programming part, me.
And what about social media? Like, are you active on Instagram?
I'm not using Instagram, but I'm using LinkedIn mostly. Maybe I can share my profile, LinkedIn profile.
Okay, because we, like, DigitalFUTURES are sharing some of the work that we're doing. So I was wondering if I could tag two of you, in case if we share something.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
I think we are sharing some sort of social media, right?
Yep.
Yes.
Okay.
That's my LinkedIn account. Sadly, I don't have Instagram, but maybe Gizem is using, I don't know.
It's okay. I can reach out to you on LinkedIn. So we'll upload it by, like, within a few hours, the poster, and I'm almost done. So thanks a lot for the workshop. It was really fun, really cool.
Yeah, thanks for your contribution.
It was fun for us also. It was very joyful process for us. So thank you for your contribution. actually, because it was a very good experience for us to try on these kind of issues with you and with us also. So thank you.
Thank you very much. That was a really great experience these 4 days. I wish I could continue on this field maybe, or make some great results from that. Thank you very much. And my final question is about deadline, because there's a problem for me, and I may not be able to upload until end of today. I want to ask if there is possibility in order to upload it maybe in tomorrow or the next day. Is it okay or no? It's a must.
Of course, you
Yeah,
can. You can upload tomorrow also. So Drive folder is open already, and you can upload your works tomorrow also.
Okay, thank you very much.
thank you.
Well, it was very nice to meet all of you. Then we are closing up our session, and we will posters and models. So if you have any kind of questions, of course, you can reach out from LinkedIn or via my mail. And
Yeah, hope to see you again.
Yeah, see you again.
Yeah, see you.
See you.
Bye-bye.
Bye bye.